Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Credits. Today, we've got an interesting discussion. There's been a lot of discourse surrounding this within Hollywood, the media, and it is the topic of cosmetic culture and cinema.
Yeah.
I feel like it's obviously become a lot more prominent within the more recent years, and I think it's an interesting discussion. So,
yeah. But it's definitely, it's something that's really tickled my interest.
Yeah.
Especially the past year. I
Yeah,
think there's a
definitely.
lot more emphasis on it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm really interested in it. And there's so many different reasons as to why. I think starting with like the reasons as to why I am very sort of trepidatious about it. I think you look at it maybe starting with it from an acting point of view,
Yeah.
and the physicality like of it all, and like the fact that it impacts literally like a Botox and filler, Botox especially, literally paralyzes the muscle.
Yeah.
It stops you from moving your face in a way that you would be able to had you not have had it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see people in real life who have it, and you see them crying and you see them laughing, at those moments especially, you can tell they've had it.
Yeah.
I think in terms of from an acting perspective, I do think it's one of the things that can really create a sense of disconnect between the audience and the actor. There are some instances in which I think it can work. Like, for example, Devil Wears Prada. I'd noticed the gals had some nipping and tucking going on. And do you know what? Great work. Like, they all look great. Not saying anyone looks bad.
No.
But for that particular film, that story, that context, you know, the high fashion society, they're going to have work done. It makes sense. However, in, you know, a film set in the 15th century, having a full head that doesn't move, doesn't have a crinkle, is it does, for me as a viewer, I find it creates a sense of disconnect. And it's another added element that kind of takes me out of the story.
I was just going to say that.
There's so many things that can affect, you know, like we're living in an attention economy.
Mm-hmm.
Studios are aware of this, filmmakers are aware of this, and they're wanting to grab, and they need to grab the audience's attention as much as possible. Why throw something else in the works that can limit that? Do you know what I mean? So there's many reasons as to why I am trepidatious, but that's just one. What do you think?
I think it's a difficult debate because acting isn't really about acting anymore. With being a famous actress or actor comes the brand deals, the magazine covers, the red carpets. Not only, you don't just get, I mean, I know obviously red carpets have always been a thing, but like, you know, in terms of media, media's obviously become a lot more present within the more recent years. And I think there's such a pressure to look young for women and to look like their best. I think you're doomed if you do, and you're doomed if you don't. Like, it's just such a difficult thing.
Yeah.
I remember, I think you've watched this as well. There's a podcast called How to Fail with Elizabeth Day, and she interviewed Ruth Wilson, who's she's
in
like,
The Affair.
She's in The Affair. Yeah. She's in Luther. Brilliant actress. I really, really like her. She was most recently in something called Down Cemetery Road with Emma Thompson, which I really enjoyed on Apple TV. And she spoke about in that podcast how it's becoming harder to age within Hollywood, and she believes that everyone does something to their face, which is true.
Yeah.
Everyone does. But she's openly said that she won't have any cosmetic procedures because she needs her face to do her job.
Yeah.
And exactly that. You do need your face. You know, some scenes, the camera's there. Like, you need your face to be an actress. I completely agree. And she had the argument of having cosmetic work done doesn't make you look younger. You just look like you've had work done.
Well,
which it's hard because no matter how good your work is, when you look at their age and then you look at them, like, you know, they've had something done. You're not just like, wow. It's hard. It's difficult.
It is difficult. It's a double-ended sword, really. You're damned if you do. I agree with that.
And I think, like, I'll tell you who's a good example of, like, she could get away with being like, oh, she's aged gracefully. Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah.
Do you not
she
think?
keeps it real. That's why I
She
like
does.
her. She's made a bit
I
of
don't
a
know what
comeback
she's
recently.
had done. I don't know. I don't know if anything at all. But I think
She looks
aged.
Yeah.
She's aged well in terms. But it's
and she's
just
not had a lot of work done.
no, exactly. And I just think, obviously, but then Ruth Wilson argues you need your face to do the job because the camera's so close up. But then also that you can also argue that adds the extra pressure because the camera is so close up. People want to look their best, and it is such a difficult debate. And is it affecting performances? I mean, it depends how much you look into it. Doesn't it?
Perhaps your perception and your like receiving of that performance, maybe. I wouldn't think it affects like the ability of the actor, but I think the way that they are, it's a visual medium. Film is a visual medium, and it will affect the way in which you maybe perceive someone. And I do think there are certain like Devil Wears Prada, like I said, there's certain contexts in which certain stories that someone having worked on will have little to no effect. If anything, it can aid it. But I do think that like what you said, it doesn't really make you look younger as such. Like, you still maybe a 5 years at a push, but nothing like distinctly younger. It just makes you look like you've had work done. And we are I
wouldn't say, oh my god, they look younger. I feel like people would then go, they look good for their age.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think it's a case of looking less like what human beings are supposed to look like. Like, you're supposed to have a crinkle on your forehead when you're 45. You're supposed to like, have a few crow's feet, the smile lines, the cry lines. Like, these are all, not getting too whimsy, but they are like indicators and signifiers of just a lived in face, like a genuine human face. So it's like if we lose that sort of perception of what it is to look like a true genuine human being, which society is gradually, sadly, at this point as we're speaking, is kind of losing that. Like, you have the whole Instagram face, like the whole like the advancement of like cosmetic procedures and like the different kinds of fillers and stuff, and even like non-injectables, things like that just make like all these different treatments that are coming out that are designed to make you look younger or good for your age, as we would think more so. But it's I do think that there are sort of dangers that come into it when it comes to like not looking like a true like human being, especially in a period piece.
I was just gonna say the issue, like film to film, day to day, it doesn't really bother me, but it's when it comes to things like period pieces that I'm a bit like, I know Dakota Johnson got a lot of scrutiny when she starred in the adaptation on Netflix of Persuasion, because she was like criticized for having an iPhone face. And like more recently we've had Enola Holmes 3 come out, and Millie Bobby Brown, I mean, even though she's quite young, she has had like, I think she must have had lip fillers or some sort of like fillers in her face. And again, that's obviously set whenever it's set a period piece. And I know she's had scrutiny, but I don't know, it is a difficult one, isn't it? Because I do feel like you can't win, especially as women. Like, another thing that I read up on, because there's obviously a lot of discourse surrounding this on the media. Keely Hawes, she's openly said that roles for midlife women are improving, but they're still limited. Like, when she was 38, she was cast as a grandmother. And then at 48, which is more recently, she's just played a retired hitman in a series for, I think it's on Amazon. But again, it's just like, then you compare it to the older actors such as like Tom Hardy and Hugh Grant, and they at their age, I don't think they were playing. I mean, maybe Hugh Grant now, but like when they were that age, I don't think Hugh Grant was playing a granddad at 38.
He was still in his heartthrob era, I would imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like really, it's not like an attack on Hollywood or actresses. It actually is like it's a byproduct of the society we live in. Like, it's a societal problem. So it's like we have these toxic and unattainable beauty standards that are affecting the art that we consume.
Yeah, it's just like these unattainable standards that people are trying to. I know it is. It is hard. It is hard.
It is, and it's also I do think when you actually compare it more so to when you think perhaps like I think of certain scenes where you can see like the texture of someone's skin, or like the crow's feet on around someone's eyes, and I just think I don't know what I do know what it is. It's literally the fact that people they have more work done now. So there is for me a sense of deeper connection when I see a real face.
yeah.
Like Emma Thompson when she's crying in Love Actually. Even like looking at like recent stuff like Jessie Buckley in Hamnet.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it would have worked if she'd had been Botox and filled up anyway, purely for the fact that it's a period piece one and it's a Chloe Zhao film. They're very like gravelly and sort of like heavy in that sense.
They're very much like,
but it added to the
there's no bells and whistles in terms of, I completely agree. And there's definitely, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but there's been definitely a time where I've watched someone's performance recently and they've been crying and I'm almost like, that doesn't look right, because you're almost you're obviously acting upset, but it's almost like your face is fighting it because you've had work done. So
yeah, do you see Amanda Seyfried as well when she was doing an interview about Testament of Anne-Lee?
Oh no.
And she was like, I mean, it was such an amazing role. She's talking about how much of an honor it was to be in that film, and she's like, it's worth not getting Botox and filler for a few months, or like Botox. She was so she wasn't allowed to have it. So that could be maybe something that you could put in a
interesting
contract.
Yeah, that's true, because obviously Botox and filler has to be topped up. So
also, it's like, you can't, there's something like, all right, the emoting thing, like the crying thing I so get, which is obvious, but there's also like acting with your face as opposed to like speaking, communicating something through an expression, like an eyebrow raise, or like a, like a little minute sort of mannerism facially. And if you fucking paralyzed muscle, like you can't really, that can affect the audience's ability to follow the story, really. So it's
definitely. But I do think it is such a double-ended sword, like you say, because it's just these, as I say, you do have these red carpets, the majority, a lot of the people that get invited to the Met Gala are actors, are in the acting industry, and it's just so difficult, because you're right, society has created these unattainable high standards of beauty, especially, well, it is just for women. It's not especially for women, it is for women.
This is another thing what I was going to say. It's like, are we going to be or are we going to have a film industry in which women are, trying to look younger and younger, and whereas, and the male actors are just going to be gliding through their careers untouched, not having to not feeling the pressure of aging, not having to do all this stuff. And it's like, in what way will that be feasible long term? Like, are we all just going to start Botoxing and fillering up? Like,
I know, because it's hard, because I've seen Bradley Cooper recently.
Oh yeah,
just
like
out
Barry
and about.
Manilow, no offense.
Yeah, and he's been fillered to
maybe,
the brim.
Maybe, yeah.
And I mean, I know he hasn't been in loads of things recently, so I mean, maybe when this Ocean's 11 prequel comes out that he's in, maybe he'll get the scrutiny then, but I doubt it's going to be as much as women get. Like, it's hard. It is so hard.
They make an observation about men, whereas with a woman, it's an observation and a critique. Yeah. Even if you've not had my example thinking about this, what I'm going to say is Margot Robbie, because Margot Robbie's had stuff done. Not obvious. She's still one of the most gorgeous people in the world.
Even when you look at when she was in Neighbours starting out her career, she's absolutely insane.
She's gorgeous, but
she is.
But she got stick for when she was pregnant, and people were like, she can't do it after doing wrong. One of the most beautiful women in the world is getting hate for the way she looks, and that's gonna. No wonder people, even stunning people, get stuff done. And now, personally, looking at Margot Robbie, I can't really. I don't think she suits old period pieces, as in the 1800s. I do think she's got a modern face.
Well, she got scrutiny for that, because obviously, I mean, whether it was the fact that it was off the back of Barbie, so she might have been she's obviously having to conform to the perfect Barbie look.
Yeah.
And then obviously she goes into film Wuthering Heights, but I know what you mean. It's
yeah. It is. You can't win. It's so true, and it is. It will change only when society changes as well. Exactly. We are in the Instagram face reel.
Exactly.
I don't want to see everyone looking like they've got the Paris filter on. I do think there's something, and even just in real life as well, I think it's something so wonderful about looking like yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And having your own features, and not having white brick for teeth.
Yeah. Who have we seen recently? Pamela Anderson. She's embracing the no makeup on the. I mean, I'm not saying she hasn't had things done. I'm sure she has, but even that is a step in a good direction in terms of the fact that she's embracing her natural beauty.
And she is natural. She is gorgeous.
She's everyone's naturally beautiful, though. Do you know what I mean?
Everyone's beautiful.
Everyone's gorgeous.
There's also another element. I put down something about the financial aspect of it. for example, if you're watching a film about a single mom who's like trying to make ends meet with 4 kids and her forehead will move, and you can obviously tell she's had Botox, I'm clocking out in the first 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
No, I know.
So
like,
will
I think
that
casting directors have even said, like, visible cosmetic work can actually make newer actors seem less believable.
Yeah.
So when you are starting out, it is.
Yeah,
it's
it is
interesting.
difficult. Maybe for
It's
the
a
more
hard
established
one.
ones, there's less consequences.
Exactly.
For example, we've got Anne Hathaway in The Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
To be fair though, I don't think Anne Hathaway looks.
No, she doesn't look. She looks amazing. Her work is brilliant.
I've seen. Yeah,
She looks
her
great.
and Emma Stone.
I know.
Wow.
She looks unreal.
Girls, I know we're talking about. Don't.
Yeah, but give me the number.
Give me the number. Give me a contact.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard because it's like Emma Stone was gorgeous before and she's gorgeous now, but she clearly has had something done. Same with Anne Hathaway.
Little mini face left on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Honey pea.
I like when I'm watching The Odyssey, I will not think Anne Hathaway, you've put me off.
Oh yeah, fully.
Because
Yeah.
I do believe that she still has the ability to do period.
Oh yeah, 100%. And she actually, yeah, I think maybe it isn't just like the kind of work you have done. Maybe it's more just maybe it can be your face, but it could also be the essence you bring. I do think she fits in period pieces, definitely. But if you look at, like, I saw someone put a picture of her in Les Mis versus now, and it's like, all right, yeah, Les Mis, she's been through the mill, and then this one she's playing, Odysseus' wife. So yeah, I mean, she's gonna maybe because she's playing like one of the more affluent sort of people in the film, maybe it's gonna work having a little bit of a nip and tuck. But I mean, it's not to say that Emma Stone looks amazing, as does Anne Hathaway. But there is gonna be certain contexts in which it's not gonna fit the story at all, and in that case, will it affect the kind of stories that are told? Or, like, I don't know, is it gonna be harder to cast?
Yeah, exactly.
It
is because it is just becoming a little bit of a norm, and I think people are starting to get work younger.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting debate. I feel like
I think that we're both in quite different minds, as in, like, we would both think like both sides of the same coin of ours. Yeah,
definitely, because it's like a lose-lose situation. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
I know, gosh, I couldn't bear with the pressure. Like, honestly, like
just to constantly keep up those appearances and just to constantly, look good for whether that's the paparazzi when you're just going about your normal day. Like,
I know.
Even paparazzi, like, oh, such and such is looking a bit worse for wear. And I'm
Daily
like, well,
Mail.
yeah, she's popping out to get a weekly shop.
See me walking around Tesco in my Crocs.
Exactly. Like,
fucking hell.
Of course they're not, it is so difficult because it is just keeping up appearances, but that's the way society
I know. Couldn't be
conditioned
arsed.
itself now. But let us know your thoughts.
Yeah,
what
definitely.
you think. I think it's just one of those, like, I'd be interested to hear from people who have, like, extreme opinions on this.
Yeah.
Like, what their reasons are behind this. But I do feel like the vast majority would.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who are, like, making content that's like, it's ruining cinema. And it's like, well, it's having an impact.
Yeah, it's having an impact, definitely. But like,
it's not ruining it. It's a very blanket statement to make.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this little deep dive into this discussion. Yeah,
comment your thoughts below.
Join us for our next one. Not too sure what that's going to be yet, but yeah. We hope you enjoyed, and yeah, we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.